Oh, that was a Squatch.
I do think there's a Squatch in these woods.
It does look very squatchy.
Nonetheless, this is still a squatchy area. I like this place. It seems kind of squatchy up here. The thing about here, it's full of game. It's perfect for squatches.
Island, let alone be squatching here, but yeah, I'm with you. I'm so...
Matt's going to do a call in 10.
Perfect. Over.
Hey, this is Bobo. I'm going to do a call.
Copy that, Bobs.
Hey, Matt, you want to try your knockers? Dude, I think we might have a Squatch out here.
But this area does appear to be pretty squatchy, so that...
Dude, I think we might have a Squatch out here. Let me do a little whistle.
Sure.
Let me do it again.
Within 150 yards of us, there was a Squatch near us.
Well, they're edible. These could be a very, very readily available food source for things like Sasquatches. And if not Sasquatches directly, then things that Sasquatches eat, whether it's...
Did you guys hear that?
What is that?
That was a knock and a splash.
That was something that way.
Well, that was a Squatch.
You know, after spending 3 days in the brush out here, I'm kind of blown away. Rhode Island's way squatchier than I ever expected.
I have no problem saying Rhode Island is squatchy as hell.
To Matt Moneymaker's former squatching ground of Ohio.
I've been tracking Sasquatches for 25 years.
My first trip out here, I ran into a Sasquatch at very close range. I saw some of the squatchiest habitat I've ever dreamt of east of the Mississippi. I am thrilled to be back.
We review a lot of Sasquatch videos, and the majority of them I think are absolutely ridiculous. What a Sasquatch is supposed to look like. If Sasquatch are real, this would be a perfect habitat for one to live.
Hey, Bobo, shake it for me.
You have the superhuman strength like a Sasquatch. Anyway,
We know Sasquatch stuff happens here, kind of a lot. I mean, this is a really, really famous place.
This is one of the squatchiest parts of one of the squatchiest states in America.
It's going to be good.
I'm feeling a Squatch call coming on. I feel a case of Squatchitis.
Oh, yeah. But Ohio is renowned for its Sasquatch activity.
Yeah, I definitely heard a scream. Was either a person or a Squatch. Just say that they think the East Coast could support more Sasquatch than the West Coast. Just caloric-wise, there's more food sources. And after being out here, I gotta agree. Food in here, and where there's food, there's Squatches. So bacon is a known Squatch attractant. We've been cooking it at night, in the morning, just whenever there's some breeze going, just get the smell out. But it'll definitely bring in a Squatch. They like the bacon. The most squatched place with Squatchers, where people go squatching, than anywhere that I know of. Anywhere.
Native Americans have been living with the land and with Sasquatches for as long as they've been on this continent. They know far more about the local Sasquatches than any Bigfoot researcher nearby would. Nothing that you've told me so far is really out of the ordinary for such an extraordinary event such as a Sasquatch sighting.
And they call the Bigfoot in Ohio the grass man. So I got my fingers crossed and my butt puckered, ready to go. After being in Salt Fork State Park for 3 nights, it's squatchy. It's real squatchy. I mean, if you spend a week in there, you're probably gonna have some kind of contact if you do it right.
At least 2 other sightings from hunters up in tree stands, actually. And I've often thought, like, is it Sasquatches aren't looking up because everything they're interested in is up down on the ground? But in this case, I think it's actually just blending in, and there's so many leaves and things here. If the Sasquatch was pretty much invisible until it was right there, he was probably invisible to it as well. The Sasquatch that he saw does not conform to people's expectations about Sasquatch, but this particular color of Sasquatch, the lighter variety, has been seen again and again in this part of the country.
It's so big and obvious, it looked like a Squatch hunting blind.
That this was a cover for a Sasquatch to hide behind to watch.
Like it had to be either a shoe or it was the heel of a Squatch. That's a Squatch heel.
This is a good place to squatch. I mean, we've seen some stuff that could be Squatch related today. I think this is the place to do our night investigation.
Yep.
Look at this. This is like a Squatch trail.
If I had a quarter for every time someone within the Sasquatch community has told me this, all my school loans, they'd be well paid off by now.
I do think that the Squatches in here probably come out of a safe area and make a circuit. These would have.
That's typical squatching.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely Sasquatches in Salt Fork.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's right.
And a whole lot of people who are hearing things that may have been Sasquatches.
A very strange sighting has Sasquatch hunters coming to southeast Idaho.
21st century Squatch bait.
To support something like a Sasquatch.
I've actually been out here and squatched a couple times. Never had anything happen here yet, but there is a lot of good reports out of here. People are shocked to hear there's Sasquatches in southeast Idaho because it's high desert, but I'm not. There's all the ingredients a Squatch needs.
Quite crisp, but it seems to utterly lack the depth that one would expect of a Sasquatch walking through snow.
She's a pretty good Squatch.
Yeah, not bad. The main difference between what I'm seeing with you and the possible Sasquatch here is that we're seeing less of the Sasquatch's body than yours. Looks like we can see yours to about your mid-thigh, whereas a Sasquatch here, possibly the waist or something like that.
I think it was a Sasquatch.
And you
I also have no reason to believe they saw a Sasquatch that day.
Bigfoot.
I know if I like it, the Squatch likes it.
Among the repertoire of a Sasquatch, we think the females can make a real terrible shrieking sounds that people say sounds like a woman being murdered. Oh my God. Jesus.
But let me give a response, 'cause that's what I said I'd do. Well, I'm sorry.
Coming up,
Having a rave out in the woods can bring in the Squatches. It's something they don't see very often, especially in Idaho.
It was a Squatch.
After looking over this area, that's the riskiest place I've seen a Squatch hole up during the day around people. So I'm thinking this is another one of those Squatches that ain't a rocket scientist, and so who knows how its teeth got broken out. Probably not something real brilliant. I believe him. This Squatch wasn't one of the bright ones, and it's...
I think I saw a Squatch. A 4-foot juvenile Sasquatch several years ago. I would expect a Sasquatch to be. Of course, would then become a food source for any Sasquatch in the area.
Recent sightings of Sasquatches. Although this part of the state is not known for its Sasquatch sightings.
Most reports are of adult individuals and not juvenile Sasquatches at all. And that makes this report all the more compelling to me. I think of other stuff, but it's not. This is a short, brief glimpse of a juvenile Sasquatch disappearing into the brush. The description of the creature, I think you saw a Sasquatch that night, man. I didn't expect that when I drove in here, but I'm convinced, man, you saw a Sasquatch that night. Native Americans have told me on several occasions that Sasquatches drop off their juveniles in certain areas that I refer to as nurseries.
Dear Sasquatch, s'mores at my campsite.
He believes that what we're looking at in this footage really is a Sasquatch. What is it that makes him think it is a Sasquatch?
About where we should be looking tonight for Sasquatches.
Whether or not they were Sasquatch, difficult to tell, but they were all very similar in size.
I'm thinking it's a Squatch. She should have cast it.
Where he thinks the Sasquatches are most likely to be right now. And since Sasquatches are big, hair-covered animals, we think that they'd want to keep cool, especially at this time of year.
A Squatch is going to come check it out, guaranteed. If a Squatch sees that, they're there. Dude, 21st century Squatch bait.
They're going to catch the attention of any approaching Sasquatches, and maybe that Sasquatch will knock or do a little call back.
I know already the guys think that's a Sasquatch in a tree.
But what Bobo described might have been a juvenile Sasquatch. I mean,
What may be the first video footage of a Sasquatch in this state.